Thank you, Miro, and I'm sorry that I missed the entry if you're watching this after. So your reward for following activities: reading the challenge, we just went through that. Reading the proposal, of course, you need to read the proposal that the review is based on, and then you kind of have to make your own reasoning. Like, you have to get into the head of a PA that says, okay, well, because a PA will assess that proposal, right? And you will then read the assessment of that PA, and then you will have to classify it as excellent, good, or filtered out, right? Every single time you have to do that. If you choose filtered out, you have to provide rationale, right? If you choose excellent or good, you don't have to provide rationale, but if you choose filtered out, you have a responsibility to provide the rationale. Why did you filter out that assessment, right? Because again, we are now at a level in the whole ecosystem in Cardano where people are taking this seriously. People take this as a part-time job. Both PAs, both VPAs, but also, proposals. These are real people behind these projects. They depend on this funding. It's not a joke, it's not a game. So that's why we have to kind of, justify our logic and behavior. That's our responsibility to the community. So, that's why this rule is here. Let me see. Okay, so we have some criteria, and we have a very detailed document about this criteria that will be linked in one of the following slides that you can look through and read properly as you should. But in short, we can go here over some review criteria. The perfect, let's think about the perfect theoretical PA assessment, right? That one should have all of these things included. So it should have a PA contemplation of their own ability to assess a proposal, PA scoring against challenge criteria, PA opinion on the proposal overall, accountability to the Cardano community, and positive feedback loops, right? So each statement should have all of these, right? And this is something that you take into account. Now to get to a little bit of, we will go through in the following slides, but you will understand that every new fund, we iterate on this process. We try to make it better. We try to make it more efficient. We try to make it more streamlined. But in the end, especially for the VPA role, you will always have some subjectivity, right? Now we can go into the discussion, is this good or bad? It doesn't really matter, but it will always be subjective, and you just need to take that into account, right? You have a role as a VPA as a sort of a judge, right? Because it's not you personally who makes a decision. There is a decision of a lot of judges, let's say, but it is your personal, let's say, opinion that kind of says, well, this assessment is excellent, or this assessment is filtered out, or this assessment is good, right? So what do you do? What is the impact? If you say that the assessment is good, okay, you're saying, well, it's good enough to be on the ballot. It's good enough to be taken into consideration. It's nothing special, and the PA will not get, it will get the normal amount of the reward for that assessment, right? That's like the middle ground. That's like, if it's not too terrible, if it's not too great, it's good. But it will always be your personal level, like what is too good, what is great, and what is not great, what is bad, what is filtered out. Fund after fund, we see people who are stricter, and we see people who are more lenient, right? This is for you to decide where you stand on that scale. My personal suggestion is to not go into some extremes, because extremes are usually not good in these sorts of dynamic systems, because if you go too strict, you can filter out a lot of assessments, you can demotivate PAs who will not get rewards, and maybe we will end up having not enough assessments for the proposals, right? Then again, don't be too lenient and not just let anyone in, because then the quality will be lost, right? So there is some sort of a middle that is on each one of us to decide where we stand. Is this clear? Does anyone have any questions about this?
Yeah, I have
Go
a
ahead,
question.
Thomas. Sure.
The positive feedback loop.
Mhm.
When it was a CA role,
Yeah.
it was very understandable.
Yeah.
Now that it's changed, the nuance has changed a little bit to the PA, an assessor role.
Mm-hmm.
And with the question of the bots and
Yeah.
some of the gamers that have come in, if a PA is getting slammed or reviewed on a positive PFL, but he's down playing a obvious bot and he doesn't leave a nice comment, how does that work in real life?
Well, I see lately, especially in the previous fund and now in this one, because of these bots and these occasions, I feel that a lot of PAs and now VPAs are looking at this from a perspective of, wow, what should I write that is very safe? I just want to get my reward. What do I write that is very, very safe, right?
True.
Which I understand. I understand it's human of us. We put in effort. We want to be rewarded for it. But I always led myself, look, I want to serve the proposer as best as I can as a PA, and I want to serve everybody, basically community, proposer, PA, and the voter as best as I can as a VPA, right? So positive feedback loop is a job of a PA to provide, right? Because PA has a box and he or she can write hundreds of words about the proposal. What I did as a PA usually is, hey, I'm giving you 4 stars. If I give you 5 stars, then you're great. I just say, because of this project is very well aligned with the challenge, blah, 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 5 stars. Fine, no problem. If I give less than 5 stars, if I give 4 stars, 3 stars, 2 stars, 1 star, the lower that rating is, the higher my need to justify that rating is, right? Because I recognize there's a proposer on the other side, there's a human being or a team of people. The minimum that I can do is write a few sentences on why I gave 3 stars and what should they do better, right? That from my perspective is a positive feedback loop. Now it's on VPA to say, is this written by a bot, right? That's something that the VPA has to, think for themselves. But I think that, let's say specifically for positive feedback loops, I would say it's very difficult for a bot to write a meaningful comment on, on a proposal. That a bot constructed positive feedback loop will be very, I think, difficult. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think for that particular thing, I wouldn't be too worried about. I don't know, Thomas, if that helped, but
Yeah, no, that helps absolutely. Just trying to get some real life experience.
yeah, well, usually it goes, let's say, people I did as a PA, you have a great project, but you see that someone technical wrote it and they just didn't want to waste too much time. They just wanted to continue programming, right? Great. Yeah, I understand how that is, right?
Right.
And then you give them 4 stars, because I would have given them 5 stars, but I can't. It's not fair to the others. So I give them 4 stars. I gave you 4 stars because you know, you could have. I would have liked to see a more detailed budget breakdown. I would have liked to see, you know, weekly or monthly, you know, milestones or KPIs or something like that, right? If
Right.
I give you 2 stars, then I say, look, you are not aligned with the challenge at all. This would be better suited in another challenge. You don't have a budget. You don't have a plan. You don't have a team. Maybe you're by yourself. Try finding the team here. Try, you know, go into details, right? So that's just, you don't want to so pardon my language, but you don't want to make people feel like shit, right? Because the minimum effort that is to write a proposal should at least be rewarded with something, you know, with some feedback.
Okay.
Okay. So how do we get to consensus? Because let's say that we have one proposal, and that proposal has been assessed by 10 people. Okay. And, you know, some people said excellent, some people said good, some people said filtered out, but there's only one decision that we can make. And this is our, you know, this is like a logic that we use to make that decision. For an assessment to be classified as excellent, it needs to be considered excellent by more than 50% of the VPAs. Strictly more than 50%. So if it's 10 of us, at least 6 of us need to say that it's excellent. Okay. For an assessment to be classified as filtered out, it needs to be considered filtered out by at least 50, so more or equal than 50%. If there's 10 of us, 5 of us need to say it's filtered out, and then it's filtered out. Okay? If the requirements to consider an assessment as excellent or filtered out are not achieved, then it's classified as good. Okay, it's not a complicated thing, it's just something to keep in mind, right? That's, you know, that's kind of a simple methodology, but it works. And I think here we have a few examples, right? 2 excellent, 1 good. Excellent because we have more than 50% saying excellent. 1 excellent, 1 good. It's good because we have 50%, but not strictly more than 50%. We have exactly 50%, and that's not good enough. 1 excellent, 1 filtered out. We have filtered out because we say if at least 50%, so if at least 50% more or equal than 50% is filtered out, the assessment is filtered out. Good filtered out the same. If you have 1 excellent, 1 good, 1 filtered out, there is no, you know, common consensus, so it's just good. We just keep it in there. And we have 1 excellent, 1 good, and 2 filtered out. The outcome is filtered out because 50% is filtered out. Maybe not so crucial for the role of people, but just to understand, you know, how these decisions get made. Here we have some. This is actually, first thing is the positive feedback loop. This is a guideline that says, here we also have CAs and VCAs because this is from the previous fund. We have, let's say, an example of excellent or good, or at least what should be considered excellent and what should be considered good. So why is this important? Why is it important to have a positive feedback loop? CAs that provide practical coaching help the proposer to deliver a better project. Readers should be able to understand why these guiding points are important and how addressing them would improve scoring the proposal, right? That's a part of a coaching part of the PA role, right? So excellent. What would be excellent positive feedback loop? Actionable coaching points are provided to guide the proposal about what is and isn't strong, what could be improved to become more compelling. So what does it mean, actionable coaching points? Go to this website. Here is an example, you know, something that is actionable. Do this, do that. This would be better. And good is simply, okay, CA has given or PA has given feedback about the strengths and weaknesses. but it lacks guidance, let's say. So that's good, that's decent, but nothing special. We have a few examples more. I will go through them a bit quicker. If at any point you want to stop me, please do, and we can discuss specifics. We have CA scoring against challenge criteria. So these are the things that these are the review criteria from a few slides before, right? So CA or PA scoring against challenge criteria. Why is this important? Readers should be able to understand how the score reflects the advisor's perspective and feedback provided. Specifics within the proposal are highlighted to illustrate understanding, and the advisor or an assessor has provided supportive rationale that is aligned with the criteria. That's why it's important first to read the challenge criteria, right? The thing here that we talked about. First, you read the challenge criteria, then you read the proposal, and you kind of think about the logic of how proposal tackles that challenge. So what is excellent? PA has provided a reasonable, thoughtful justification to support the scoring. PA feedback addresses specific content. PA feedback is comprehensive, demonstrates that the entirety of the proposal was considered and understood. PA score and comments are well balanced and logical. Feedback was based on a sound analysis, right? If you put in a little bit effort, you will see that there are many PAs who don't read proposals properly, who don't take the time, who just try to make something generic so they can do more assessments to get more money, basically. And you should, in my opinion, I do, but I think you should do as well. If you see that kind of behavior, you should filter out those assessments. And also you should look at an assessor ID and look at other assessments that they made to see if they are, a really bad actor, and then maybe flag the rest of their assessments. So excellent would be that, and good would be, PA has made a fair attempt to justify their scoring. However, feedback generally lacks specificity or clarity, so it's more vague. It's useful, but it's more vague. It's not really specific, but hey, it's not bad. So it's just good. Good is somewhere, in the middle. CA opinion on the proposal overall. Why is it important? Each challenge has its own intended outcomes. Job of assessors and voters is to qualify the validity and appropriateness of the activities described. And if it's a good use of Cardano Treasury funds, right? PA has a role to give an opinion, but to give an opinion that is based on some fact, right? So what is excellent here? PA feedback comments are unambiguous, and they demonstrate a strong grasp of the objectives of the challenge and the project team's objectives to address the challenge, right? So this part is important, but this part is a PA needs to be capable to assess what they set out to assess, right? If you are, let's say, technically not there technically, you don't know anything about programming, networking, nothing, you're just not interested in that, maybe it's best to not go and assess proposals in developer ecosystem. Like, there are highly technical proposals about SDKs, APIs, tooling. Basically, if you don't have the knowledge to understand them, you should not give an opinion about them, because obviously that opinion is not based on something factual, right? So an excellent assessment by this category is made by someone who deeply understands, the problems of the current developer ecosystem, who understands the attempted solution of tackling that challenge, and who demonstrates a strong grasp of these concepts within their assessment, right? And a good version of that is just, PA demonstrates a basic understanding, basic objective of the challenge. There are gaps identified in their feedback, or feedback lacks clearly documented understanding. So when you notice that they do know what they're talking about, but they're not, huge experts, you just give them good on that, right? I think you see a pattern between, good and excellent by now. Accountability to the community. Measures being taken so the project team remains accountable to the community is at the heart of Catalyst, right? Excellent would be PA clearly identifies how the proposing team will demonstrate their positive return on intention. PA scoring is backed up with supporting rationale, whether they agree or respectfully disagree with the realism and clarity of the plans and budget, right? So PA needs to, basically what I always guide myself with, PA always needs to justify their opinion with some text or some something that they read in the proposal or in materials attached to the proposal, right? You can't just invent things, take them out of context, just invent them. You have to kind of say, hey, I wrote this because of this, and this, accountability to the community. Community cannot hold this proposer accountable for this proposal because of lack of a detailed timeline. The timeline presented in the proposal is not sufficient enough. The plan is not presented. Team is not full enough. I don't know, things like that. You have to kind of reference yourself to something in the proposal. And the good version of that is, yeah, you say these things, but you're more ambiguous. You're not as clear. You don't reference yourself that much. So, okay, it's good. It's not great, but it's not filtered out. It does add some value. And finally, we have this CA contemplation of their own ability to assess a proposal. This also sometimes is a bit comical. I did see a few of these assessments where PA just goes and says, well, I am an engineer, I do this, I do this, I do this. And that's not really the point. That first you need to read a CV of the assessor, right? The assessor needs to PAs are encouraged to provide sufficient but concise information, right? You just need to prove to the VPA, to the voter, to whoever is reading your assessment, that you know what you're talking about, right? And that's an art in and of itself, right? You need to prove to me within a few sentences that you are capable enough, know what you're talking about, and that makes an excellent, assessment on this point, right? An example would be, let's say Dowslove Cardano. You can say this proposal seems a little bit unrealistic because it assumes that 95% of people within a DAO will be active at all time, which is unreasonable. I am a part of 3 DAO organizations, and we see an activity between 20 and 35%, right? That tells me, okay, you're active in 3 communities, you have some factual knowledge, you have some measurement of what is happening, and based on that, you think that the number that is in the proposal is unreasonable, right? You don't have to tell me I'm a sociologist and I have a PhD and I wrote 3 books, but you just have to kind of demonstrate to me that you're aware of the problem, right? And that it makes sense to me. Say, okay, well, that makes sense. Like 95% of the people won't be active in governance, right? So the good part of that is PA demonstrates proof of critical thinking in their argumentation, but PA has only provided tenuous clarity. Which of their assertions are based on their own domain expertise, which are more intuitive, or it is unclear how the PA has arrived at some of their judgments if the assertions made are outside of the PA's domain expertise, right? So it's again, you made logic for something, but you didn't make logic for other things, and it's on us as VPAs to decide, what is the level of excellent, good, or yeah, things like that. So basically, this kind of finishes the main part. These last few slides are just references and guidelines that are given to us by IOG, by Daniel, by the Catalyst team. Some are made by the community. You have the tools. I strongly encourage you to go through these materials. And here we have the Catalyst community, Discord servers, Telegram groups, so you can join the conversation if you're not already part of them. What is next for you? If you choose to be a VPA, that would of course be a huge service to the community. You don't have to. There's plenty of roles to be taken in Catalyst, as you know. And I have time until 4 p.m. So, well, in about 18 more minutes, so we can talk about whatever you want here. Your time to ask questions is now. I see Miro has raised his hand, so go ahead, Miro.
Okay, thank you, Phil. Can we jump a little bit on this? Who can be who can be VCR in terms if we have proposal in the challenge and so on? So because
Sure.
in this fund 9, we actually have a few challenges. So my question is, if I have proposal in one challenge, in that challenge, I cannot do the VCA work.
VPA
Correct?
work you cannot
VPA
do
work,
it.
okay.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. But what is the, how can I, if in one proposal, somebody mention me, for example, if they have in budget my services, I will be in that proposal, I will say like co-proposer. How can I say?
If you are a co-proposer means that you are proposing together with them. Like official co-proposer is the person that is in the in idea scale as a co-proposer, right?
Okay, but if I am in proposal, just mention it. For example, we have
I understand
budget
what
items.
you I understand what you
I'm
mean.
not co-proposer, but they are just mention my name
Yeah.
or my services.
That is a gray zone. I don't think that's strictly prohibited. But we sometimes have to rely on our own, morale and goodwill. If you can be objective, but general rule for me is if I know that I can have direct monetary gain from this proposal getting funded or not, I try to avoid it. I maybe don't try to avoid the whole challenge, but I try to avoid that proposal. I understand.
That proposal is okay because of the small amount of challenges. Actually, personally, I'm in a very, very strange situation because I have my own proposal in one challenge. So this challenge is dead for me, I will say like that. So in another challenge, I'm co-proposal, I will say like that. So next challenge is also dead for me. And the in other challenges, people mention my services, I will say like that. So
I know. I mean,
a
lot of people in this community, are wearing multiple hats and are multiple, so it's understandable. I think for VPA work, the most beautiful thing is it will be public. So if you won't be ashamed to share it publicly, and if you won't mind someone calling you out for it, then great. If you will be,
I was thinking if then if I will strictly be in concept of VPAs, then I have only one challenge.
Yeah, I understand.
Because of amount of challenges, this fund is very, very small amount of challenges. So I don't know what to do. If I will pick only one challenge, because I have only one challenge where I can do the VPA,
the VPA work.
And in this challenge is only 43 assessments.
I
So
understand.
what
I
then,
understand. No, but I would say you have your own proposal in one challenge, right? So you can do other challenges. Just don't do challenges that you are directly, you know.
Okay. And that's,
That would be my
okay.
advice. That's what I would do.
Okay. To avoid proposal where the people are mentioned my services, but
yeah,
I can do I can do VPA in that challenge only for another assessment. Okay. Thank you.
Thomas, yeah.
Yeah, I have 4 questions, kind of all wrapped up into the same category, and it has to do with time and money. So the first question is, what is the length of the review period for VPA assessments? Number 2 is approximately how long does it take to review an individual PA's assessment? Number 3 is the average dollar paid per assessment. And if you're doing a minimum of 200 assessments, what is the average income? You mentioned it as a part-time job. What is the average payout to a VPA per funding round?
Okay, so let's start with the simple ones, the timeline. So how long do you have to do this work? This is going to be somewhere. Let me just find it. I'm not exactly sure. I expect it to be 2 weeks. 2 weeks from this Thursday.
10 or 11 days.
10 or 11 days, okay. But let me just try to get an exact number from the last town hall slide.
From 21st till 30, from 21st till 1st of August.
Yeah, but didn't it get truncated? This fund, isn't it a little shorter than previous?
Let me check. Just try to find the from 21st to 1st of August. That's it, as the guy said, Thomas.
Yeah.
It did get truncated. Last fund, I think it was 2 weeks. This time is maybe 11 days, a little bit less. And we have the timeline usually I find these timelines on the town hall slides. If you don't have the town hall slides, you can go on YouTube, and in the description you have the link for the slides of that town hall.
Okay.
That was the first question. Then the second question was, how much money can I make if I really put in the effort, right?
Second question was the approximate time per review that you spent.
Okay. Approximate time per review. This is very, very subjective, right? And this is also something that will depend on your morality, okay? I know that you can do, as a VPA, you are kind of the final instance. There is no one really that checks your work besides IOG. And if you don't do some very, bad behavior, if you just, if you do, I don't know, some ridiculous number of reviews, then it won't make sense. But you can click good, and get through 10 within 1 minute, Obviously, that's not good for the community. Obviously, that doesn't add value to anything. But I cannot disregard the option that someone does that, right? I don't know if people do that. I hope they don't, but it is possible that they do. Okay. I can tell you from my experience how much time it took me. It depends also on the assessment, right? You get this file, you get this big file, Excel file that you have to go through, and you have all the assessments there, and you have the link to the proposals. So you have to read the proposal. Now, to be a little bit faster, maybe you can do one proposal in one challenge, and then you do all of the assessments for that, because you don't have to read the proposal every time, right? You have it in your head already. But what I always focused on is the flagged assessments first, right? Because that's what the proposers complained about, right? So you go through those, and if it's cut and dry, that's great. You know, it's you're done with it very quickly. If you see like the proposer flagged it because there was like 3 words of rationale. You know, someone said, "I hate this project," right? Okay, you're gonna filter them out. It's not a problem. But more often than not, it's somewhere in the gray area. You know, it's somewhere where you really have to go into it. You have to read it. You have to think about it. And it can be 5 minutes, it can be 10 minutes, it can be 20 minutes, right? Or it can be 20 seconds. So it depends on the complexity. It depends on your morale. Again, you can go through the proposal in 1 minute. You can just read every 5th sentence and you kind of get the gist of it. You don't open links, you don't care about the team, you don't whatever, you know. Or you have some people who go deep into the forensics and they find social connections between team members and people who, you know, do that, and they follow the PA, they follow them to other assessments. How many assessments did they make? Is this the only one that they made? Is this a targeted attack? You know, it depends on how much you want to go into it, right? But let's say a very rough, very rough estimation can be, let's say, I would say 5 to 10 minutes per an assessment. So it's a big difference if you take 5 minutes or 10 minutes. But to do 200 reviews, let's do some quick math. To do 200 reviews times 5 minutes, that's 1,000 minutes. It's 16 hours, 16 and a half hours. So, you know, I'm sure there will be people who do 400, 500, maybe 1,000. So I don't, you know, I don't know. Some will be faster, some will be slower. It depends on your focus. You know, it depends on how much focused you can get. If you do this for a few, it's a mentally taxing task. It's not simple. You know, you have to think about it. You have to be focused. You have to be present, and it gets tiring. You know, it gets after 1 hour. I'm already, you know, walking around. So, but that's just me. You know, that's just my experience. I don't know. Maybe some people are more, you know, efficient and faster. What was the third question? Money. This depends on the incentives. So you have that document that is in the presentation. You can go through the document. What I cannot tell you exactly is because it depends on the amount of the total assessments. It depends on how many VPAs completely will participate, how many will be eligible for the rewards, and then you have some reputation model that says, okay, this person already has a good reputation, so we'll pay them a little bit more. So it's a lot of equations that I cannot just tell you, well, you'll get $5 per, you know. But you go into that and maybe you'll find something meaningful. Also, my experiences from previous funds that don't really make sense because, first of all, ADA jumped up and down, people participating jumped up and down, mechanics changed completely. So I know there was one fund, I think in Fund 4, I made, I don't know, $2,000, and I don't know, then Fund 5, I made 100 or whatever, but it depends on my effort. It depends on a lot of factors. So, you know, I really don't know how to.
Well, you know, there's I always use the adage, there's a wag and a swag.
Yeah.
Wag is a wild ass guess and a swag is a scientific wild ass guess. So you have life experience. Is it $50 an assessment? Is it $25 roughly?
I would say that it's about 15 to 35, a very rough estimate, but this is
Okay.
it can be 50, it can be 100, it can be 5. I have no, it very, very roughly, if you take a huge average among all the people,
Okay, that's fair enough. That's all I was
Yeah.
looking for. As I
Okay.
talk to seniors and I try to recruit them, the question is, well,
I know.
how much can I make? So I can say 50, rough
Yeah.
number. Well,
Yeah, I know people that do like PA and VPA work, and then that put together can be, depends also on where you live, depends on your expectations of what is a good salary, what is a normal salary. So
sure,
yeah,
sure.
yeah. Thanks, Thomas. Benedict, please.
Thank you.
I can't hear you. I'm sorry. No, I think your microphone is disabled. Okay, we have Lynn. Benedict, you sort out your mic. Let's see what Lynn has to say. Lynn, first before you ask the question.
Hello. Long time not see, Philip. Hello.
Hi, Lynn. You said 0.46 cents per assessment. Fund 8.6 cents per assessment.
For VPA, not for PA. Yeah, that's a VPA.
Aha. Okay. So per assessment, that means
Per tick.
Per tick. Per tick.
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, for VPA and PA together, it
PA
depends.
is a lot more. PA
is a lot
around
more.
$40 and $70 for an average. Not a good way. Good Tampa 3.
Yeah, but the thing about VPA is, I think people can abuse. You just have to put a tick, basically. If you put good, you just have to put a tick, and I think people abuse it.
I think you need to put a comment this time. I think
for filtered out. For filtered out,
you have to do.
For filtered out, you have to put a comment. But if you just are going after the money, you just click good, and I'm not saying that you should do that by any means. I'm just saying that
they gotta do. Yeah. All right. Good luck.
The world is. But did you have a question, Lynn, or you just wanted?
No. I just tried to answer that question before. For Thomas.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for the help. Benedict, are we? I still can't hear you. Sure, Becky, you want to ask a question? Sure.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for the opportunity. So what I want to know is some assessment that I saw earlier, they just, make this general comment, and they don't, state the was this other two sections that are required to justify their comment or their overview of what a good or bad proposal is. So what do you classify such assessment as? Good, filtered out, or,
I don't understand. So we have, what you mean is we have like three, we have impact, feasibility, and auditability. And
exactly.
they just wrote rationale for one.
Exactly.
That is automatically filtered out. That's something that you don't even have to consider. By Miro. It's automatically filtered out because PAs have to give for each of the sections. Perfect. They have to put restoration.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
No worries. Benedict, we try once.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right, great. So this is my first time here.
Nice.
This is my first time joining the Cardano committee. So
Great.
I did the PA role, and I said, let me take a look and see what the VPA role is about. Kind of like missed the conditions to becoming a VPA, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I've downloaded a slide. Is it possible for you to just rehash that area so that I can get familiar with it without going through the slide so much?
Sure. So you want to learn about the VPA?
I want to find out the conditions.
The conditions. Sorry. Conditions is to be a PA in previous two funds, or to be a PA in 3 funds in total since we started, right? So, but now I am not 100% sure. This, I did not look into this. When it says two funds that you need to be a PA in, let's say this fund you were a PA, you cannot be a VPA this fund. But next fund, if you be a PA, maybe you are already eligible in next fund to be a VPA as well. But
Right.
I am not sure. I would have to check that. I'm sorry. I did not come prepared enough for your questions, Benedict.
All right. All right. So I'll hold on and see, and possibly follow from the Telegram chat and see if
Sure. Yeah, of course. You can ask in the school chat. You can ask in the Catalyst chat, wherever. Ah, maybe Lynn knows. Yeah, go ahead, Lynn.
Can I answer that question for you?
Of course you can. Yes.
By
You
the
can
way,
be a
I'm from
teacher also next time.
I'm
you
from
know?
Eastern Tahoe. All right, I'm co-hosting
yeah.
Eastern Tahoe, so
Yeah.
I'm not running around.
Yeah.
For VPA, you need to be two reason for VPA, you got to be last 2 PA and your assessment not have more than 50% filter out. One. Secondly, if you don't do PA, but you do VPA for last 3 fund, then you'll be legitimate. But by now, you should have an email on the 15th of July already that the congratulations to become a VPA already. If you don't have that email, then you will not legitimate to do the PA in Fund 9 at the moment. From IOG, that's what I believe. You should have the email by now.
Let me check. Let me make a check and be sure. By the way, I'm from Lagos, Nigeria. So hello everyone. Those who
Hi.
Great.
I actually been to Nigeria few years ago. I've been to what's the name of the city? I forgot. Hold on.
Lagos?
No, I landed in Lagos, but it was a small city. I was working in the tobacco factory. I cannot remember. I'm sorry.
That's up north, towards the northern area. Were you in